With 2022 coming to an end, there were a bunch of things I didn't get a chance to talk about, and a bunch of things that I just don't really talk about on my channel. So I'm gonna make this video talking about some of my favorite releases of the year. I might make another video talking about some of the worst releases of the year, so if you want to check that out, then just make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. But I'll start off talking about some music releases. Now my two favorite albums of the year are Dawn FM and Her Loss. Now, I don't really talk about music on my channel because I don't really like to talk about them in depth as much as with video games, and when I talk about them, it's just me messing around, like with all my top 5 videos. But I'm just gonna keep all these sections brief, so I won't really dive deep into them. Now these are some hella mainstream albums, but I really think they're the best releases of the year, and some of the best works from both artists. I think Dawn FM is The Weeknd's best album, and I don't even think me going to his concert is affecting my opinion. The only thing that the concert did was make me enjoy Gasoline, cause before the concert, I didn't really like it, but after you performed it, I'm like, goddamn, this song actually sounds good. But I enjoyed the album more because of the concert, but even taking it out of the equation, I still think it's his best album. There are zero misses, and the only song that I just stopped listening to was Take My Breath. I don't think it's a bad song, but I just don't really find myself listening to it much. But yeah, I really enjoyed the After Hours, and I think Dawn FM was just a step forward using that 80s sound. But the next album is Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage. I don't remember if this album surprised me, cause on one hand, I'm like Drake's been ass with Honestly Nevermind, but on the other hand, I'm like it's a collab album with 21, and Drake and 21 never miss. So I think I was kinda skeptical, but when the album dropped, I'm like, damn, this shit goes hard. And it does. There are only a couple of songs I wouldn't listen to, but some of the songs he's dropped on this album just go hard. My only issue with it is some of the songs that go on for an additional minute. Like for Circo Loco, there's that final minute of that Daft Punk sample that could have ended like 45 seconds earlier, and then in Broke Boys, there's the outro that goes on for like a minute. And it's just annoying because you have to skip the song instead of just letting it finish on its own. But yeah, I think this album was his best album, since if you're reading this, it's too late. But for an honorable mention, I've got Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. His concert with Baby Keem was supposed to be my first ever concert, but I ended up getting COVID and wasn't able to go. But yeah, this album had its bangers, but I just like the other albums more. Now moving on to my favorite songs of the year, we've got two polar opposite songs. So on one hand, we've got Is There Someone Else by The Weeknd. Now I also need to say that I'm not even a fan of R&B. There's only a few R&B artists that I can listen to, and The Weeknd is one of them, and probably my favorite artist of all time. And this song grew on me like crazy, and it's the perfect post-workout song after getting your mind cleared after a nice gym session. I mainly listen to music in the car and at the gym, and the song that I listen to when lifting heavy sets and hitting PRs is gonna be so surprising, and it's the Rumbling from Attack on Titan. I know it's such a curveball from Is There Someone Else, but I always listen to this song at the gym, and it's just stuck in my routine, and it ended up being my most listened to song on Spotify. But yeah, this song goes so hard, and I don't even listen to metal. This is the only metal song I listen to, and this and Family Ties by Baby Keem and Kendrick are songs I always listen to during sets. So yeah, those are my two favorite songs of the year, and there are a bunch of other songs I listen to in my rotation as well. So in the honorable mentions, we've got Out of Time, Creepin', N95, Die Hard, Circo Loco, and Sanjuro. But moving on to TV shows, I think we've got two top 5 TV shows of all time. I'm not really talking about series as a whole, but 2 seasons. And it's not really seasons either, and you'll see why when I reveal them. But these 2 shows are some of the best shows of the year, and arguably of all time in my opinion. So the first show I've got is Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2. I made a video on it, but this show is actually one of the best shows I've seen of all time. I never give 10 out of 10s or anything to anything other than this show and Breaking Bad, which kind of reveals the next show, but I'll get to that in a minute. But Attack on Titan is a show that I think everyone can watch, and the rewatchability is unlike anything else, cause you get to watch the show from a different perspective. So I will probably watch it again before the final part drops. But the next show that you probably saw coming is Better Call Saul. Now, I'm almost done the show, so I'm not actually finished, but I don't see the show turning into absolute dog shit in the next episodes, so I'm just gonna keep it on the list. Cause the only other seasons of television that I watched were the MCU shows and Stranger Things 4. And there's this other show that I might reveal if I make a worst of 2022 video. But Better Call Saul isn't just a random spin-off, cause it adds so many layers to the Breaking Bad universe. All this had to have been planned back when Breaking Bad released, which is crazy impressive. So I think it deserves to be on this list, even though I didn't finish it. Even Attack on Titan had to have been planned ever since its first season, so I think 2022 is easily the year of television with these goated ass seasons. Some people might be wondering about The Boys, but I didn't watch it cause I like watching shows that are finished before watching shows that are currently airing. Which is why I'm not actually done Better Call Saul yet, because I started watching it in like October or November, and with Attack on Titan, I was under the impression that part 2 was the final part until they revealed that there was going to be a part 3. So yeah. But moving on to movies, the first one we've got is The Batman. This movie permanently changed the personality of everyone in their 20s, and I think that's all I need to say. But the next movie we've got is Top Gun Maverick. I didn't like the first one much, but Top Gun Maverick on the other hand was crazy. There is very little CGI in the movie, and it's crazy how the actors actually had to learn how to fly these military jets while operating the cameras and shit. You only see movies like this from Tom Cruise, and it's such a nice refresher after seeing constant CGI in movies you see nowadays. The only CGI is like the missiles apparently, which makes sense, but everything else is practical. So yeah, Tom Cruise is actually insane, Top Gun Maverick is goated, and I definitely want to see the new Mission Impossible movie whenever that comes out. Now, some people might be wondering about Avatar 2, but I haven't seen it yet cause I'm gonna watch it on New Year's Eve. But spoiler alert, not of Avatar 2, but I got bored of the first movie. Now, the effects were really good, and it holds up really well in 2022. I watched it recently in IMAX 3D when it was re-released, and the story is whatever. I'm not watching these movies for its story, but it just felt so long. The effects only looked cool for so long before I got over it. But I heard, however, that if you didn't like the original, that you'd probably like the new one more, so hopefully that is the case. But other than that, that's it for movies. Now for the video games, I haven't finished either of the two I'm gonna be talking about, and it's probably obvious as to which ones I'm talking about, and that's Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok. Now with Elden Ring, I put like 50 hours into the game, but I'm only done like a third of the game apparently. I'm at Radon right now, so I still have a long way to go. But although I enjoy the game, I still think the game has some significant issues. The main issue for me is its length. I think the game is way too big. I found myself enjoying exploring half of every area before I get bored and end up searching a boss list. I can't play the game from start to finish without playing other games in between, cause I just get burnt out, which is why it's taking me so long. I will make a video on it eventually in the future, but so far I do like it when I take my time with it. But the next game on my list is God of War Ragnarok. Now, I didn't play any other 2022 release this year other than MW2 with its beta and Warzone 2, so this is more of an expectation than like a definitive ranking cause I never played it. Now, when Ragnarok came out, I was platinuming the original and making my video on it, so I just didn't get to start it. But with that being said, I don't see the second game being a huge downgrade cause the gameplay is already top tier. And with what I heard from what people think about the story, it's really good. I didn't want to have two of everything except for video games, so I'm just leaving Ragnarok cause everything sounds good from what I hear. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the list. I think the TV shows were the best of the year cause they were two elite seasons of some of the best TV shows of all time. And then probably the two singles cause Rumbling is never leaving my gym playlist rotation, and Is There Someone Else is a really good late night drive song. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you guys want to see a worst of 2022 list, cause I think 2022 had some good shitters as well. But yeah, that's about it. Later.